I can be back by next Thursday, next week. You want to go get the truck and bring it in here? What else do you need?
Can I use my sink?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't use this sink, but yeah, you could use the other. You have what, a couple bathrooms in here?
Grab those bags and we can back up to the truck.
Well, so are we gonna come back a different day or are we gonna call someone else out? Because that's 3 bags and just 2 guys. Today? Yo, what's up, man? Fresh, first day on the job. What's poppin'? Just passed that Bud Light stocking.
Nice to meet you. Are those the only shoes you brought?
Yo, you like them? Y'all don't got AC?
Not out here.
What's up, bro? What's up, baby? What's it do? Man, it's gonna be me and you out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Slanging and banging. You and me all day, every day. What?
Fresh air.
Bussin', bro. Man, what y'all got up in the fridge, dude? Oh, apple juice! You should get me on there, man, with a fit check. With the flat cap bill, rocking them Jordan 4s, right? With the Home Hero shirt. I've gone to shops where literally guys have pulled me aside and be like, man, I love all this stuff you're teaching, but if I do this, I'll be out till midnight. They're just gonna give me more calls. And it's heartbreaking. It's like, man, what's the real goal here? Like if I've got 12 tables in a restaurant and I can serve those 12 people and give them the best experience ever and I can be profitable. If I wanna make more money, I'm gonna add a 13th table. I'm not gonna add a 13th customer. Meaning I'm gonna increase my capacity. I'm not just gonna shove more people into my capacity. If my room fits 56 people and I wanna sell more tickets to my event, I either have to increase the capacity or hold separate events. I can't put 115 people into a room of 57 people.
They want a tankless and a softener installed. They don't have either, and they've already been approved for financing.
What's that got to do? So you want me to go out there and do that call?
Well, they also say they've been having trouble with their sewer line and been wanting to replace it for a while, but they can't find somebody who they like to do it, but they think they trust us.
I don't want to have to work super hard to get it though. You want me to repipe the house, put it in a new tankless, softener. Did you say something about a sewer line?
That's what it looks like. I think we should go check it out, man.
No, bro, this is ridiculous. And is this commission?
Yeah, I already talked to the owner about it. He wants to actually double your commission on it because it's such a big job.
So you want me to go out there, you want me to run this call, it's a bunch of work and a bunch of money or whatever, but it's also a bunch of taxes, and you're gonna have people out there helping me, watch me, do what I do, and then you want me to get it done faster so I make even more money, and then I have to, take another call because now I'm done by Thursday or something?
What else are you gonna be doing instead here, Steve? This is the job, man.
You got any odor smells or anything like that on there? Like maybe like in a different, maybe just... Why does on-call suck? Well, look, here's the thing. Most companies that do on-call 24/7 after hours, they don't treat it the same way they do during normal hours. They have a full staff and they have a full support system if someone calls between 8 and 5. But then after hours, they don't have a CSR, they don't have a supply staff, they don't have a lot of other things, and they want to go out and charge the same rates to the customer, if not even more, because they're doing after hours work. If you want to charge more and do on-call, then provide more service after hours. If you can't provide at least the same service that you provide during the day after hours, then you shouldn't do it. Think of it like an emergency room. Not every doctor is open after hours, but emergency rooms have a full staff after hours. Be an emergency room or be a doctor. But you gotta pick one and make sure that whatever you pick, you can service to the full. There's no plumbers to hire. There's still a lot of plumbers that don't work for you working in your city. You're just not known enough. And so everybody tries to be just known enough because you don't want to overspend your marketing. And he goes, well, what do you do with all the money you spend on leads that you can't get to? And I'm like, well, what do you do with all the money you don't make when you're slow? See how this goes both ways? So I would rather spend a couple extra thousand every month and waste it and be known and have leads and momentum and be moving forward and I can hire into than to have that day, just one day when I'm slow. It'll be a couple grand in revenue off of one truck that we don't get.
It's that time again!
You've now entered the No Sale Zone.
No Sale Zone.
With Chris Fresh,
the plumbing sales coach.
peels back the curtain of what sales really is. Buckle up. Buckle up and get ready to learn how to increase ticket average by providing better service. And now, your host,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
CF, the plumbing sales coach.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I'm so excited to have you guys on here tonight. I've got a special guest, but we're going to talk about something I think a lot of people miss out on, and it's how to make your phone ring without really having to spend a lot of money. And whether you are a plumber in the industry, whether you're even just someone who loves the industry or you're an owner in the industry, just anybody out there that's paying attention to plumbing, this matters because tonight's special guest is an influencer in that industry in the sense that they come from a community that most of us are aware of, most of us know, and most of us love. And so I can't wait to share with you guys tonight who I have. But before we get into that, got a little homework to do, or a little bit of house cleaning to do for the show. We're in a new building. We're in our building. We just got done having a big tech event here. About 100 and something people were here, plumbers and owners and CSRs and everybody from the office to the field. And we did this big, huge event and had a great time. And we learned a lot. We did a lot of study. I learned a lot. It was a great time. I mean, it was literally a great time. And I can't wait to talk about that maybe in the future. But we did that here. And we're in here doing our show in their studio. Still needs to get soundproof. So we got a little ways to go before we're ready to be ready for the studio. The studio is actually right on the other side of this camera. You can't really see it. Obviously, I can. I'm staring at it. It's just a big shell of a beautiful building. But I can't wait to get in there with you guys. But for tonight, we're going to be out here. So it's a little bit different. We had to throw it together last minute, and our guests had to watch us do that live. A little bit embarrassing. I don't know. It seemed like I felt like we were starting all over again for the first time. But yeah, look, where are you from? Where are you plumb? I went to pull up the Facebook, but I messed up and clicked a button. Now I can't get to it, so I'm going to have to try to pull up the comments here. But where are you from? Where are you plumb? Where are you watching from tonight? Can't wait to dig into this episode. You can see here I'm fumbling around trying to find this thing. How do you find it, man? Whoa. There you go. A little bit loud there. Got to turn that down. All right. Rookie. Chris Ross in the house. What's up? Anna says, woo, woo. Local plumber, Fort Lauderdale checking in. What's up, James? Good to see you on the show. Brian in the house from New Braunfels, Texas. We got Robert Avila in the house. Christopher Ross. Donnie Hughes. Good to see all of you guys. Jackson, Tennessee. Louis J. Garcia says Tim Bryant. And Joss Santor says SoCal. Southern California. We're in Southern California, brother. I mean, I know you got to be a fan of In-N-Out. You got to be a fan of In-N-Out. I don't know if we can get, I don't know if it was a gift, but I don't really feel like it was a gift. But I got a gift. Someone gave me something the other day. I want to show it to you guys here in a minute. Is it possible for you to run and grab it really quick? We're going to run and grab that. I got to show it to you guys. Before we get into that, I want to show you this. Plums Up, Canada. Sick. That's sick. I appreciate this gift. Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you. And then for the one that gave me this, you know, I want to break it live on TV. I want everyone to see me just crush this thing. How dare you come into my house? Whatever. And I'll tell you, the quality is compellingly worth talking about. It's kind of like if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you kind of buy the cheaper stuff, or if you actually go to the supply shop. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Vince says, what's up, Indy, as always. Ventura County. I know exactly where it's at. I grew up in Southern California. Born there. Garden Grove. Garden Grove. Anaheim. The Plumber's Plunger in the house. What's up, Travis Dodson? Good to see you on here. Hey, look, tonight we're going to be talking about how to make the phone ring. Now, if you're a service plumber, I'm telling you, pay attention to this because this applies to pretty much how I build relationships in the home. It's pretty much the secret to free marketing if you want to make your phone ring. And for you as a plumber, it's the secret to getting referrals. It's getting mentioned in reviews. There's a method to this madness because at the end of the day, we're trying to give people an experience. We want people to feel good while they unfortunately go through a terrible event like a plumbing catastrophe. Now, look, some of you are like, man, the toilet ran and it kept them up a little bit. No big deal. Well, they don't always leak that way. Sometimes they leak in a way where it causes literal major problems. How many of you remember saddle valves all the time? just failing. Yes, Whataburger love. Now that's an interesting one. Shauna Dobbs capitalizes everything about Whataburger in Texas. I've noticed that pattern with you. Whataburger. Man, I feel like I should go wash my hands. Thank you for the 50 stars. I don't know. For that reason, I will let this survive another couple minutes before I break it. I'm not going to break it. I'm just joking. I want to break it. There's a difference. All right, where are you from? Where you Plum? Meerkat Plumbing in the house. What's up, Tim? Where are you at? Who's watching? Because tonight we got one for you. Now, I'm also letting you guys know we revamped our program. A lot of you don't even know we have a program. We train plumbing companies, and we show them exactly how to do all this stuff we talk about on the show, all the stuff we talk about on TikTok, except for the comedy jokes. Some of you guys might recognize this from the 2-hour water heater video I did with Cornwall Plumbing back in the day. That one went viral. I think we got 1.5 million on Instagram and 500,000 on Facebook, and just tons. That video went crazy. Also, a lot of people arguing about how long a water heater should take. I didn't notice a big argument on that. Home of the cold burger. Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah. Tell it like it is. Central Michigan in the house. Put down the hate for 50 stars. Okay, I thought I did put down the hate when I set the cup down. Oh wait, that's not what you meant. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. All right, I wanna really quick just unpack this a little bit. I got a guest on here tonight. The organization is going to be very familiar to a lot of you. I remember going to Southern California, back where I grew up and where I was born, and I remember going back and running some calls with a company by the name of Cisneros Brothers out of Hesperia, California. And I remember they used to have the patch PHCC on their shirts, and I was from the Midwest. Midwest didn't see that a lot. Maybe the bigger companies did that. And I thought, man, what an interesting thing. They're really proud of that. And just started to pay more and more attention over the years to the PHCC. And it's an organization that really is people of the people, right? It's plumbing owners and people in the industry that are leading these, I think, chapters. I'll get corrected on that here in a second, I'm sure. But they become the presidents of these, and then they kind of, through volunteer style leadership, they call it lay ministry in the church, they run these organizations. And there's a few people that are actually on staff that work, and then some of those serve on the board. And so we've got someone here tonight, I believe serves on the board. I could be wrong on that, but executive director of the PHCC of North Carolina, Stephanie Blaze with a K. We got corrected on that a little bit earlier. Stephanie Blaze with a K. But I think it's Blazik. Okay, I got it right. Let's bring her on and let me introduce you guys to her. And we're going to dive into how you can really be about what she's about, do what they promote, do what they do, and how that's going to help you make your phone ring. And again, if you're a service plumber, anytime I'm ever out there in the world where I'm getting to experience something that maybe is not completely directly related to what I'm doing, I always want to pull something out of that I can learn and apply it in my situation. I'll tell you right now, this is directly related to building relationships in the home quickly, fast. Some of it is stuff that you do on the back end, basically at the front door, making the connection. But some of it's stuff you do on the front end by getting involved. And so we're going to unpack that tonight. So Stephanie, where are you at? Tell us a little bit about yourself and welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. My name's Stephanie Blazik. I'm the executive director for PHCC of North Carolina. So I'm on staff. I don't have the honor of serving on the board. Maybe one day. My husband is actually an HVAC. So the association serves plumbing and HVAC, and it's really the best job ever.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what your job is. Like, what would it look like for the executive director of North Carolina on your typical day?
So honestly, the association acts as an extension of our members' businesses. So we have in the country, thousands of plumbing and HVAC businesses all over the country. And they're represented by a national organization, and then they have a state organization and also local chapters where they kind of meet in a grassroots kind of local advocacy, local learning kind of way. So there's about 1 million ways to plug in and connect. And but really the job is to find solutions for our businesses. So the industry has changed a ton, and just the last 6 years that I've been with PHCC. So we built an apprenticeship program that's awesome, wonderful, and provide that program to our members to use as their own. So if you need people and you're having a hard time, or you're finding the wrong people and are constantly thinking, I just need to train them myself, it's just going to be better that way. Then we have the formal apprenticeship program, and they do their on the job training hours with the company. And then we have tons of just regular continuing education, so technical training and sales training and all of that soft skills. If you're new in business, financial management and business leadership, really it's evolved over the years as our contractors have come and said, like, these are the struggles that we're having in our business, and we can't find a good resource. And so if we can't find something, then we build it. So yeah, it's kind of amazing, honestly.
No, I love that. So you guys are really all about just pouring back into one another and being a part of the industry together, helping each other kind of maybe pick up on things that other owners or other plumbers or other people have figured out or innovated. You're also challenging each other to be better, probably some leadership development, whatnot. I love that. And that's a lot of what our community is about. A lot of people watching the show on here right now are huge on this idea of self-growth and getting better. And I love it. So it's interesting, though, because you're not just, you're the executive director of North Carolina, but there's actually a much bigger organization behind it. And so we're going to dive in tonight a little bit about how you guys, what you've seen maybe out in the industry that's worked with giving back or maybe something like that, as we dive through a couple of points. So you ready? I think the audience is ready. We've got Rescue One here. Tom says, what's up? Good to see you. We've got a lot of people on here tonight. Tell us again where you're from, where you plumb. And it's really important, I think, for us to understand that anytime you get around someone like this, there's a certain level of they've seen it that some of us miss out on. You just get exposure. And exposure is extremely important to experience, not just about what you've done or what someone else has done, sometimes about what you heard and what you saw. And so just keep that in mind as you're paying attention to what she says tonight. That's one of the biggest things I've learned coaching so many companies, so many technicians across the industry is like, man, I've seen a lot. Oh my goodness. You wouldn't believe how much what we've seen. Sometimes we talk about we're a church more than we are a coaching program. And so just pay attention. She's been around a lot of owners. She's seen a lot of things, heard a lot of successes, heard probably about some failures and some missteps. CJM Plumbing in the house. What's up? What's up? 4K Google reviews. Nice. It's killer, actually. J&J Plumbing, Akron, Ohio. The only good thing that came out of Akron. Has nothing to do with LeBron James. Has everything to do with LeBron James. All right, tonight we are with Stephanie Blazik.
Yeah.
I'm saying, all right, it takes me a couple times.
Got it.
Executive Director of the North Carolina chapter for the PHCC. And yeah, look, first point, let's just dive into it. I think the point was how to get some free marketing, but the first point is network. Pretty basic, pretty simple. But I just came back from a leadership conference, and one of the things they told me were like, hey, you're going to get the most out of this by the other people coming. And I was like, okay, they're just trying to get me to come. So, you think that, and then you go and you're like, oh, wow. Like I don't know, disrespect to the speakers. They were great. I learned some things from them too. But man, I got a lot from the table I was at, from the table discussions, stuff like that. I think the same thing probably translates here, right? Like there's still this same reality of just being in the room with one another during breaks, going to get food. Although you learn things from each other and one another, just being around each other. So tell us a little bit about that networking and what have you seen work? Does that work? First of all, I guess it's a good question to start. And then how have you seen it work, if it has?
Yeah, it's funny, actually. We put so much work into these events. And then when we send out the survey at the end, like, hey, like, what was the best part? 90% of the time there's a list of things that they love, but 90% of the time they're like, man, after the regular scheduled programming, when we're all sitting down at the restaurant or the bar or whatever, I got to connect with somebody on the other side of the state, on the other side of the country. and learned a ton. And oftentimes it's interesting. You'll find out that, like, I'll find out people in North Carolina connected with somebody out in California at, say, like our Connect conference in October. And then 3 years later, you see them kind of palling around together, and they've, visited each other's businesses. And there's something special about connecting with people in your state, but also being able to connect with people outside of an area that you compete with. The conversations are just different.
Yeah, that idea right there of going to someone else's shop and getting exposure and seeing things, that's so powerful. And then seeing it maybe in an environment you're not used to. One of our ongoing jokes here is like, a plumber will post a picture on the internet and you're like, man, that's not going to go well. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good it's plumbed, because so many people from different states, different countries, different continents have different codes, and they do things different, and there's reasons why they do things different. And so I know from traveling around, it's been crazy, the exposure I got. And you're so right, getting into another market and seeing that how things can be different, but how things can be the same too. Like, their problems are your problems are their problems. And so that's really powerful. What kind of, I think me and my wife are coming to an event in North Carolina. You guys are doing a casino night. Am I right on that?
Yeah, it's going to be so fun.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about what that is and who typically comes to that and what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's open to anybody in the industry or anyone that wants to support the industry, but our state association has an educational foundation, and our national association does as well. And it's a part of PHCC that focuses on scholarships and workforce development and being able to talk to the next generation, the high schools and middle schools and sometimes elementary schools, about a career in the trades. And so that's the heartstrings of PHCC, I feel like.
I think so. Something we talk about often with the owners is like, man, this ability to generate new plumbers, because it's hard sometimes to find good guys. They've either got places to work or, and the good ones aren't just going to jump around. They're not going to hop from company to company, and rightfully so. That's what part of their DNA, right? Justin Sackman says it really helps when you're not in competition with them. And I'm like, man, that's so true. Meaning what we were talking about earlier about going back and forth between the markets that you're not necessarily a part of. Vince says, I want to go. David Simmons in the house. What's up, Aqua Flush? Nathan, good to see you from I think it's Orlove's Plumbing, Cleveland, Ohio. Good to see you. Chuck Dollarhide. What's up, big dog? Good to see you out of Utah. Clearfield. So I grew up in Southern California, but I went to high school. My final year of high school, my parents moved. They thought that'd be fun, just like the final boss, like on a game. My stepdad was like, let's move him to senior year to 2 states over. So we went to what was it? Utah, and I graduated from right there, right by Clearfield. So me and Dollar, I talk about that all the time. Good to see you on here. Donnie Hughes, Greg, what up? Good to see you guys on here. Okay, so you do events like this, and there's more than that. There's tons of events you guys do all throughout the year. People got to network. You got to get involved. You got to meet other people in your trade. You got to really get a chance to see, what else is out there. Open your mind up a little bit. Or is everyone doing the same thing? It blows my mind how many owners think that the way they're doing it is the way everyone's doing it. And I'm like, nah, man, it's not. Not everyone's doing anything the same. I mean, there's some things, but not all things. And no one's doing everything. And it's like, what's up? He says, okay, we in here. Home Heroes, what up? Kobe Harris, what up? Good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. Advantage Plumbing, Heating and Air, Dayton, Ohio. That's the Avengers. I've been watching Spider-Man with my son. You ever watch those shows? You guys have kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're going back through them. I guess the new one's coming out. Colby's business brand is like that. The Avengers.
My kids have been devouring Spider-Man Oreos, and their teeth are blue.
Man, it's crazy. They're making money off us every time they release some. Josh in the house. Joshua. That's a ongoing joke between me and Josh. Joshua in the house. Justin Michael. Zach Brown says holla. Or no, he says hola. No, he says holla. I can't spell. I don't know what's going on. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on. All right. So let's get into point number 2, because networking is important, but that's not all. And by the way, if you're a service plumber and you're like, well, how does this apply to me? Network in your community. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a home where I walk in there and it's like I find out that their kid had the same coach as my kid or something like that, and it's like we're instant friends and we don't know each other. It's just instant trust. You got to network. Got to get out there. My wife's like, you need to take your own advice, Chris. I'm busy. I'm busy these days. I want to. All right. So I'm coming to that event to network. The point number 2 is advocate for your audience. Does the PHCC advocate for plumbers, for the plumbing nation, for the heating and cooling nation? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I mean, there's initiatives on a national level. Like, we talk a lot about the workforce and the amount of money that the federal government is pumping into the workforce right now because they realize that they got themselves in trouble by not doing it. And so there's a shortage. And then there's local issues as well. So we're battling some 1099 issues down here, and Louisiana's got some board stuff going on right now with their licensing board, and across the country, it seems like there's a lot of conversations right now where just the licensing in general is kind of under attack because people don't understand the importance to public safety of having licensed qualified professionals out there. And so we're just fighting to protect the community in general. But like you mentioned earlier, every state has its own code and its own rules. And so the association, we're not a top-down association. We all, each state kind of runs independently based on the needs of that state. And that's very much kind of driven by the legislation and our ability to advocate for the things that our people in our state need. But then on a national level, we come together. Actually, we've got a legislative conference coming up in May that pulls all the states together to talk about the bigger issues that affect everyone. So yeah, it's really neat. Lots of layers.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like if you're an owner, or let's say you're a service plumber in a home, advocate for your audience. Everything she's saying that they're doing for the industry, for the plumbing nation, if you will, and the heating and cooling. I don't mean to leave you out. I'm sorry, my bad. And Stephanie will not be having that from me either. I get it. You're all in that community. But for the plumbers out there, you got to be careful when you pull up to the house, like how you walk on their lawn and how you walk up to the front door. All this stuff matters. Right? It's advocating for your audience. For you owners out there, your audience also is your team. It's not just your paying customer. It's not just, you got to advocate for them as well. And, I get crushed on the internet for saying things like, on call and should we do on call? And it's like, look, if you're a service plumbing company that is doing residential home service, there's a world that could exist and you don't have to do on call. And, here it comes, I'm sure. But you don't have to do it. And if you don't do it, you could advocate for your future service plumber. And so I love that you guys advocate for your audience. I think that's so important. I think everyone should do that. Whatever you do, whatever your community is, advocate for the audience. You guys put on great networking events, and your networking events are also a form of advocating for your audience. So I think it's really cool because it can get lame sometimes just going to the same old conference with the same old booths and the same old things, and just to change it up, mix it up, and get other people around each other and create space for that. I love that you guys do. That's great. And it's great that you go ahead.
I'd say that our audience, a lot of times people think that our audience is just like the business owner, but our audience is the whole company. And so when we have a member join, it's not just the business owner. It is the company, all of the employees, all of the support staff, the technicians. And so we have things that support the business, but also the individual. They just launched this app, for instance. And I know a couple of different managers that are like, man, it is so hard to manage this plumbing department or this HVAC department and all of the personalities and all of the administrative things. And then on top of that, also coordinate training. And so we're like, oh, well, we have that. Let us do that for you. It's plug and play. And same with dispatch and people just going into business. So yeah, I love that you say, you have to advocate for your employees, because we feel the same way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's interesting sometimes. You have these great debates on just the different positions in home services, and it's like, man, they're all so important. The first voice on that phone call, the CSR, just setting the tone, and even before that, the marketing team putting together something worth calling and something that maybe gives people a reason to call, and then that first voice, that first kind of like reassurance, or that first confirmation that this company is really what they claim to be. And that CSR has to be empathetic and reassuring, and has to be able to also be in control of the call. And it's a 911 emergency sometimes. And so I love that, how that position plays a role in this thing. And then you got your service plumber that goes out and has to be the expert, but also has to build a relationship, has to recognize they're in someone else's home, someone else's culture, someone else's environment. And then you got the field supervisors, or operations managers, or plumbing managers, or service managers, or whatever the company structure is. And they've got to be able to sometimes deal with some upset customers because they don't understand how the pricing works. They don't understand why something took so long, or why the guy did that or did this, or why she said this or said, it's like such a strenuous job, because you're dealing with people. Sometimes the customers, are paying customers. The homeowner is stressed. Like, they're stressed. It's not their best day. They woke up to plumbing problems or HVAC problems. So what a privilege that is, though. So you get the privilege of serving the people who serve the people, and I think that's so cool if you look at it from that point of view, and I love that you guys do.
Yeah, and educating the public, the amount of calls that we get, just looking for recommendations because they hired the wrong person, and they're like, oh, turns out like this person did a crap job, and they didn't pull a permit, and they don't have a license, and now that customer has no recourse at all. And so hooking up with the right qualified professional to get them, squared away, and I feel good about that.
We've got a question here for you. Where can we find those managerial tools? Taylor Soul is asking.
Yeah, so depending on your state, you can look up PHCC, and then kind of whatever your state is. A lot of times they'll have it on their website. We do in North Carolina.
So how would it be for North Carolina? It would just be PHCC. Oh, you're just saying in the Google search, PHCC North Carolina, or PHCC Florida, or PHCC. Okay.
Right. We're phccnc.com, but our national organization, you can find like a link to whatever resources you need in your state. And that's phccweb.org.
PHCCweb, WEB.org.
World Wide Web.
Okay, perfect. Web. Yeah, web. WEB. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right. Ron says local plumber of Fort Lauderdale, soon to be local pro across all of Florida, making big moves. Love to see it, brother. Congratulations. Yeah. I met Ron at an event in Florida. I spoke at an event, and I say this every time, but I'm just saying, he's got a big old pinky ring. It's real nice. I was just the whole time I'm like, man, you got a story. Tell me your story. And I was just the whole time I was also thinking, if he falls into the ocean, he's not coming back up. That thing is weighted. Unless you're in Utah, no PHCC here. Chuck says there's no PHCC in Utah. Why can't Chuck run for president? Run for president, dog. You got it. PHCC of Utah coming your way. Tolerate the president. Love it. I'm voting you. I'm voting for you, dog. I nominate you. I second you, and then I'm voting for you. I don't know how it works. She's like, you don't have any.
Set it up.
She said, you don't have any power here, Chris. What's up, everybody? All right, look, we're with Stephanie Blazek. She is the executive director of PHCC in North Carolina, of NC, the beautiful North Carolina state. It's a great state, by the way. Great state. It's a beautiful state. And she is basically here to help us understand how what they do is a reflection of what we talk about you should do One is network, get to know your community, get involved, know people, know stuff. Second one is advocate for your audience. Now they do that. They have all these training tools, tips, tricks. They have the ability for you to network with other owners. They have the ability to create environments where you can network and communicate and connect with other owners. And then they also teach your team, your people. And if you're one of the teams of people, they teach you how to get better and serve your community. And that's what they do. They're serving you while you serve others. I love it. The whole thing kind of like in a nutshell. It's service over sales. I don't know how you say it, but I love it. It's Tar Heels. All right. Just randomly throwing out college teams. All right. Go Tar Heels. Go Trojans. USC. What's up, y'all? Gusto in the house. All right. Look, so if you look at it from that point of view, you are advocating for your audience, you're networking, you're in your community. That's our motto. Serve your community. Serve it in everything. Not just plumbing. Not just HVAC. Not just heating and cooling. Like we should talk about, I've always wanted to know, like plumbers, like plumbing is what we do. Plumbers is what we are. HVACers, HVACing? Like what do you guys, are you guys HVACing? Like we're plumbing. Are you guys, how's that work?
It's an acronym.
I'm just joking. All right. How do you guys serve your community? So we talked about pretty much kind of put this thing, a bow on this thing. You guys are doing this big event at the end of the year called Connect.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? How do people find out about that? Because check this thing out. It's pretty cool.
This year's going to be awesome too. It moves around the country, but it's a conference that brings together our contractor members from all over the country. And this year, it's always in October. This year's in Milwaukee. We have a great partnership with Milwaukee Tool. Man, half of our members' trucks are red anyway, but we're going to go down there and take a tour, and our conference is like right around the corner. There's tons of partners that are there to educate us, breakout sessions, an awesome trade show, and really just that connection that you were talking about as well. And it's a diverse group. There's some new little baby startup companies to people that are 3 and 4 generations in and have built empires, residential, new construction, commercial, all of the. Pretty much there's a track for anybody that attends. So different.
So
education,
anybody that owns a plumbing company or is in the plumbing industry, first of all, we're going to be around the greatest tool brand ever. And then from there, we're going to be at this event with other people who have been extremely successful in the trades, in the industries that we're in, other industries, other markets, same markets, different markets. And I'm telling you right now, anytime you go to these events, I'm going to one tomorrow myself. I fly out tomorrow morning. Me and my wife are going to Russell Brunson's Inner Circle. It's part of an organization called ClickFunnels. And there'll be about 100 of us there with him. And we're going to learn a lot of stuff. It's going to be 3 days of just straight fire hose type information. And like, I'm always learning too for y'all. I go to stuff, I'm learning. This was a kind of a private event that I'm able to go to, but it's still this idea of getting around other people who don't do what you do, but are doing similar things to what you do. And you can learn from that, and you can gain a lot of knowledge. And I'm ready. And one of the things that they said to do when we come is be ready to learn, be ready to ask other people. Don't worry about just what's on stage. Learn other people. Have like 4 or 5 questions that you got to get answered. And if you can figure out who's coming ahead of time, like figure out what 5 or 6 people do I got to talk to. The leadership conference I just went to, we had to write down 6 people that we had to get time with while we were there, aside from the speakers, aside from all that stuff. And I just think there's so much power in that. I'm going to start incorporating that in my events. I think it's a good idea. And so if you're going to something like this, you're going to, this magnet, this bringing all of the who's together, like go figure out what you don't know and be prepared, write down things, have an objective, have a plan. Don't just go there and network and let the tides take you wherever they take you. Like have a game plan. What advice would you have for someone coming? And first of all, why should they come? And then second of all, and by the way, this is not we didn't invite her on to sell tickets to the Connect. I don't even think we have a way for you to buy them. You have to go find them yourself. But the bigger point here is it kind of ties everything we've been talking about together. So, because there's going to be education there, there's going to be information there. Why should they come? And then, when they come, what's a tip or a trick or something they should do?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't like to go to these conferences sometimes because it takes them away from their business. But I feel like you should have the mind of a CEO. This is your time to strategic plan. And so that's great advice to come in, identify, 3 to 5 problems, and then shop solutions while you're there, because you're in a room full of people that are offering solutions. And so go in with specifics. And if you have never been to something like this, please, even if you're not from North Carolina, reach out to me. My email is stephanie@phccnc.com. I'll connect you directly to your exec, and they love to make introductions and connections. That's why it's called the Connect Conference. We're trying to connect the dots to people and solutions for you. That's the whole point of this.
I love that. Look, I'm telling you guys, if I'm going to, someone had asked if you do them in Texas, man, I would. Who cares? Go to Milwaukee. I'm flying to Boise, Idaho. You ever heard of it? I've never heard of it, but I'm going there. I've heard of it. But I have a connecting flight through Bozeman, Montana. I had not heard of that. Is that a thing? Had not heard of that before. So, but I'm going, man. I'm gonna go and see what happens. And it's not what's taught; it's what's caught. You gotta go. You gotta take it. Dude. That, like, if anyone ever wonders how I got here, because sometimes you just gotta take it. Sometimes you gotta go fight for what you want in this world. And I'm a believer in Christ. I'm not, but you still gotta take action. You have a role in this thing. PHCC is here in VA. Good. Be a part of it. I love that. Good. That's great. Fresh is the truth. Service first. Thank you, Home Heroes. Love you. You're the truth too. Our biggest problem right now is online advertising, trusting a company to do it. It's kind of like this. If you go to an event like this, it's like the Serengeti. Okay, just outside the Himalayas. Once a year, I don't know what, once a year, once every 4 years, something, I don't know. But it's like real, everyone's dying of water. They're just, elephants just dying of water, need water. And then all of a sudden this big form of water forms up. I remember learning this on Planet Earth. And when all the water comes, all the, the predators show up. And they're like, oh, because they know that the animals are going to be there getting the water. And that's what's going to be like at these events, man. All the people that sell marketing, they're going to be there. They're all going to be there. I'm just joking. They're not vultures. They're not. But they're ready to help you. I'll say it like that. They're ready to answer your questions. Hey, look, that's how it's hard when you're surfing the web and just looking at the videos on the internet and figure out who you can trust. I get it all. Trust me, I get it all the time. People don't join our program. They're like, I've been watching you for 4 years. I'm like, you're just now joining the program? And they're like, I didn't know. And I'm like, it's 4 years? All right, I get it. Go meet them. Read their body language. See what they're about. See if they drive with you. If you drive with them, see if they got the success stories. See if they can answer the questions. Just go there and meet them. And that's the best way to sort through and sift through and accelerate your ability to grow your company. It's not going to happen just staying in whatever town you're in, limited to the experiences that you've had. And I'm not limiting you as a person necessarily. If you're watching and you're going, well, I've traveled. I'm just saying intentionally travel for your passion, for your trade, for your business, for your world, for your community, for your environment. You got to do it. You got to do it. I know it's hard. Like you said, people don't want to come and it's honestly more than that. Just this reason, that reason. And then I'm telling you right now, if you make the decision to come, something's going to come up. It's going to keep you from being able to come. Oh man, maybe next year. No, just go. I'll tell you this. You got to do what you got to do. But every time I've made a decision to go somewhere and then that thing came up and tried to stop me from going and I ended up going, I was like, man, I'm so glad I went. That I know is true every time. She says 1,000%. Andrew Cornwell sent me a great online company, PM Now. Look, you gotta get around your peers. You gotta get around them. Iron sharpens iron. You gotta do it. Stephanie, listen, I appreciate you coming on, spending time with us.
Thank you.
We really, I'm learning more now that what we're about is what PHCC is about, is what we're trying to get people to be about, serving their community, always be serving, getting out there and advocating. I love all of it. Any final thoughts or things you want to say before we get off here? And if you're watching, I'm gonna come back on here when she's gone, and we'll kind of tie this all together. I want to apply this to running a call and how that looks together.
Yeah, I would say the association is different than anything you've probably ever been involved in before, because we're fluid, and we're member driven. And so as the industry changes and as your business changes and your needs change, just communicate with us, because we want to be there to support you and serve the industry. And the best way to do that is to be led by our contractors. So thank you for the opportunity to serve you guys.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Everyone give her a hard bomb or a what do you call it? A light bomb? Something like that. Can you even say that? I don't even know if you can say that. All right. Thanks so much for being on here. I guess get back to the kids, get back to the husband, maybe give him a break. He's the real hero tonight. Thanks for letting us have her for as long as you did. All right. Thanks so much, Steph.
Thanks.
All right, guys, look, and that's why we started bringing guests on the show, because the same thing she's advocating for, the same thing that she's saying that you guys should be doing by coming to these events. We're exempling. We're bringing people on. When I met her, I was like right away, like, oh my gosh, she got such a passion for the trade, such a passion for service and advocating. And I was like, oh, we got to have her on. She's got to be a part of this. And then I'm honestly kind of seeing if maybe there's a way we can get to the Connect event ourselves and just be a part of that. And maybe we get a chance to speak. No, I'm kidding. Hey, if you're listening, let us on Milwaukee. I'll speak. I'll be there. No, look, I really want you guys to understand this idea of networking and advocating for your audience and serving your community. And let's tie it all together, because in the home, this is going to make such a difference in really the way the homeowner perceives you, their neighbors perceive you, and the whole community perceives you. And it's a big deal. Okay. So let's run this thing together. Now, look, I've been teaching this for 8 years now on the internet. Before that, I was doing it myself in homes. I was running a plumbing company. There's a little bit of the timeline there. So I was doing it myself in homes. And then I ran a plumbing company for a long time, for about 4 years, teaching others and getting others to do it and fighting the good fight, as you will. And then I've been doing it online for 8 years now, and with plumbing companies all across the U.S., Canada, and even across the world. We've worked with other companies in the U.K. and Australia and blah, 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 blah. So at the end of the day, my point is this. I've seen a lot. And one thing that I know is that people are people. And so if you can put these principles together, no matter what market you're in, no matter where you're at, it works. We've taught so many companies how to do this. I've watched ticket averages go from 300, 400, 500, all the way up to 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, even 1,800. And believe it or not, even over 2,000. And sometimes we catch wind of 3,000. And doing it the right way, not by raising prices, by genuinely going in and giving the customer real return on investment for the money they're spending, not by selling sewers, not by doing nothing crazy. Sometimes that happens, but it's not very common. Usually it's just off the fact of doing things in quantity and volume instead of just doing the bare minimum or trying to go for the grand slam. And so we've really helped companies kind of change their perspective of like, look, less calls, more money. Meaning if you really take your time and diagnose thoroughly and really educate the customer, there's some preventative things and some additional things they may want to do to really impact the quality and the health of their home. And so that's what we like to show everyone how to do. If you, just for what it's worth, if you want the blueprint on how to do that, if you want the exact process step by step on how to do that, and you want me to show you how, just email us at info@theplumbingsalescoach.com. My sister, Mary, will reach out to you and give you the deets, as they say, the information. And maybe Raylene, her daughter, my niece, we just added her to the team. We're a family business. A lot of family actually here, believe it or not. 4 sons and sister and my niece. I'm leaving someone out. Nope, that's it. Okay, and then me and my wife obviously own it. All right. So look, this is how we do it. This is how we teach it. So this relationship, this idea, and a network. When I go to a home, I'm walking up to that home thinking to myself, man, I wonder who's on the other side of that door. Like, could it be someone that's real nice, someone that's real direct, short with me, someone real analytical? Like, whose home am I going to? And when I knock on the door and they open it up, a lot of times I can tell within really 15 to 30 seconds. Now, for those that don't have it, we recently released something called the Vibe Check, the Vibe assessment, and it's a free tool. You can type Vibe in the comments right now, and you'll get a message from Messenger. You interact with that thing, put your email address in, and then you'll get the bot. Type Vibe in the comments right now, and you'll get that. And that Vibe assessment will tell you a little bit about who you are, but it can also tell you how to learn how to read other people in that way, and then what to do when you get certain personality types at the front door. It's a great tool. So many people use it. Hundreds of people use it. It's amazing. And really, if you think about like that bot and how that thing works, it's really just teaching you how to interact with humans because it's so important. So that's where my brain's at when I walk up to the front door. And once I find out who I'm talking to, I can communicate better. I can speak in their language, so to speak. And I adjust a little bit because if I've got a real analytical person on my hands, they want details. But if I've got a direct individual who's short with me, they don't want a ton of details. They want assurance. And if I've got someone who's real friendly, they want you to engage them in a friendly manner. They want to know who's in their home, and they want to build that relationship. Let them build that relationship. It's okay. And you don't got to be them. That's not my point. Be you. But just understand the differences in how people like to be talked to. It's really, really powerful stuff. So anyways, I do that, and then I go through the home, and I basically educate the customer and diagnose real thoroughly. We talk about the three vitals and making sure that we're checking certain things all the time, but not everything all the time. I don't believe in whole house checklists, but I want to go through that home thoroughly and make sure that everything that I'm there to look at originally is considered. And I do that, and I educate the customer along with that. And I have found pretty much historically and all across wherever I'm at, country, states, whatever. I've been to Canada and plumbed. I've been in all over the U.S., and there's always a couple $1,000s worth of plumbing that needs to be done. Almost always a couple $1,000. This should or could be done. Doesn't have to be done, but should or could be done. There's a lot of stuff going on in that home that is either on its way to failing because it's similar to the situation I was there for, or maybe it's already failed and they didn't know it. So important. And when we get those things down, when we understand those things, then we can communicate them back to the customer in a way they like because we understand the personality type. And when we do that, then the customer is like, okay, this makes sense because I'm learning it in the way I like to learn. And so when we start to learn people, I just did this big event here. There was 100, like I said, 100 something people, big plumbers, some HVACs, some CSRs, some office staff, some owners. It was a big audience, big crowd. We're right here in this room, and we talked about all this stuff, and we went through like how to run the call. We did a role play, just had a great time. But one of the guys that was there, 17-year-old by the way, who's killing it in the trades. He's a young guy apprentice, just killing it though. But he comes up, he kind of waits first. He comes up and he goes, "Hey, what advice do you have for like your 17-year-old self?" And I was just thinking like, man. One would be, don't become friends with Steve. He was a bad influence. No, I'm joking. I was thinking back and I was like, I would tell my 17-year-old self to learn people all day, every day. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter where I do it. I would learn people. That is probably the most important thing I've ever done, ever been able to do in my whole entire life. And it's so crucial because when you learn people, you grasp the concepts of the differences. It allows you to be more graceful and appreciative. And even though I struggle with some of this, it's still the reality that I get a different viewpoint. I can be more empathetic. I can be more understanding. I can be more helpful because I get it. I get like, okay, I'm objective. It makes me objective. It's like, I'm objective about everything but two things. There's only two things I'm not objective about. Kobe's better than LeBron, and In-N-Out's better than Whataburger. I'm not objective about that. I would refuse to be. I never will be. It doesn't matter what you say. I will never see it the other way. But everything else I'm pretty objective on. Everything else I'm really objective because I know people, and I've studied people. And he goes, well, what would you study? And I said, well, I would learn their personality type. I would learn their Enneagram. I would learn the way they, how people think, the different type of smart you are, my working genius. I started ripping all these things off, and he was like, well, I didn't know there's so many levels. I was like, oh, and then there's the brain. Then there's how the brain works. And you start going like, what? And it's just, it's 8-dimensional. If you look at plumbing in the home, it's the biology of the home, but that's it. We don't deal with the electrical. We don't deal with the HVAC. Now, if you're HVAC, cool, you do. But if it's plumbing, we deal with the biology of the home, if you kind of think about it that way. But with humans, biology is just one topic. Just one topic. Bro, she says. Said, bro. Raylene says, everyone is different. But that also means people can solve problems differently, or sometimes maybe, hold on, let's see what she said. Better than me. Yeah, better than you, not me. I'm just playing. Yeah, maybe. Did you type it like that so I would say it? Were you trying to get me to say that you've had better ideas than me? I think I know, see what happens there. It's so important that we really understand people. So we do that, we diagnose it. And then I got this thing called value stacking, okay? The Irresistible Offer by Russell Brunson. It's so important that you understand what's happening in the home, because I think a lot of times we think people are cheap and they're not. Like, for every person's home that you go to and say they were cheap, I will show you something in that home that they wasted money on. Every person that you take me into the home and say they were cheap, they're cheap. Nah, let me show you a couple things that they weren't cheap on. I've seen it one too many thousand times. One too many times. I mean, my goodness, have I seen it. Car pulls up to me next to the red light. I'm like, that car's got 23 more miles left till it breaks down. Rims are $5,000. Yeah. Tom says, I love thinking about plumbing as human biology. 100%. That's why I said we teach the vitals. Like, because a human has vitals. If you go in there for an elbow pain, you go in there for heart, chest pain, if you go in there for anything, I got a headache, they're taking your blood pressure, they're taking your weight, they're taking your height, basically bullying you if you're 5'6" and you're me. But they're taking these things called vitals, they're taking these things called, attributes, or basically your makeup. And they're doing these things consistently every time. Like, dude, I haven't gotten any taller. I don't know why we're still doing this. Like, it's almost a little insulting. I go to the doctor. They weigh me. They pinch me. They go, you're fat, tubby. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I get up there. Let me see your height. I'm like, it's the same as it was last time. Like, let's see. Yeah, and Gusto says they all value things differently. Different things differently. Absolutely. But there's something that they value that if they saw plumbing in the same kind of way. I'll give you guys a great example. If I'm dealing with a homeowner and I'm talking about, maybe doing additional work, the way that I'm talking about that or presenting that is more about, maybe, depending on what they value, but maybe the convenience of getting it done now, not waiting for it to destroy your home, maybe an improved life quality of life inside the home. Maybe we're talking about going to softeners or tanklesses or something like that. Maybe we're just talking about not fixing the toilet again and saving money in that kind of a way. Maybe we're talking about something like it's a kitchen faucet that's kind of cheap. We're going to rebuild it, or we might replace it to make it a little bit better. If I'm talking to the landlord, I'm probably talking about investments and saving money for the future and doing more now to save more later, because for them, it's a bottom line business most of the time. So it's not that people are cheap. It's just that we're not talking in a way that they understand and see the value. I think that's the biggest difference. Water heater's the heart of the home. Look, I wanted to say what part's the toilet. What? Is this live? It's not the kidney. That'd be the water filtration. All right. Look, we gotta serve our community. We gotta advocate for our audience, and we gotta network. Okay, we gotta get to know the people that we're in. Now, I'm not saying go to your local Walmart and try to meet everyone and walk up to strangers. I'm just saying, when you get opportunities to get around people in your environment, in your community, in your network, in your industry, go to Service Expo out in Nevada. Go to the Wet Show in Indianapolis. Go to the next Plumbing Sales Coach live event. Go to Toilet is the reading room. Yeah, look, You got to get involved. You got to get better. If you want more information on how to get the blueprint that we've taught to so many people on how to grow your plumbing company, get around a community of people, bunch of killers. Bunch of businesses blowing up inside of our program. No joke. Going from 1 million to 5 to 10, 7, 15. Killing it. Killing it. We'd love to have you in there. Info at the Plumbing Sales Coach. Remember, guys, I'm going to end it a little bit early tonight, but and I want to just put this hat on as we go out. Can you see me? Guys, remember to serve your community in everything, not just plumbing. Have a great night. If you want more tips about marketing, sales, and business, type subscribe in the comments and get alerts about future shows. Also, check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple, and other major platforms. Thanks again for watching The Fresh Approach.
Fresh.